Why did Nintendo skip this epic game when making remakes? Are they trying to erase it from the Mario&Luigi RPG canon like Pixar did with Cars 2? Because while I actually like Cars 2, I at least understand them trying to forget it. But this time, there's no excuse. Foreign planet is shaped like what the planet is known for instead of like a normal planet cliche. Rosalina is a jerk to the Shroobs by not letting the sun shine on their planet. The game thinks it wasn't obvious how you move. If you're playing on the Wii U, the DS on the screen makes the text quite hard to read. Baby Bowser looks a lot like Bowser Jr. I know they're the same species, but compare his Yoshi's Island design to this one. They look different. A baby must do all the fighting, which raises a question. Did Mario have to go on long perilous journeys to rescue Peach even as a baby? Lazily reusing dialogue from the adult Bowser fight at the beginning of Superstar Saga. Peach decides to leave as well, basically asking to be kidnapped. How would Toadsworth expect to reach his own refresh room? Toad people stink at jumping. Why doesn't the roulette wheel have a lot of ones as opposed to in the other Mario&Luigi RPGs? Luigi can't jump as good as Mario, even though other games prove that Luigi can jump higher than Mario. Even though Peach's castle is an enjoyable hub world, it somewhat takes away from the exploration. 83 seconds of stuff world tutorial. Yeah, let's call it near Holly Jolly Village. Calling it Holly Jolly Road or something would make it sound believable. Stuff world tells us the obvious. Most people would have known that, you twit. I bet he'd be in love with Fi from Skyward Sword. Man, this is dark for a Mario game. Aliens abducting people and destroying homes. They even remixed Jingle Bells into a depressing track. That's just powerful, and is one of many reasons this is my favorite Mario RPG. However, they still can't say Christmas, or even Xmas. The mayor's chimney is in the middle of the house, but magically goes to the left side. These Koopas listen to Bowser even as a baby. Shouldn't they listen to Bowser's father? Or does Bowser have no father? Baby Mario and Baby Luigi are so busy crying that they're unfazed that they're being knocked into the air. I never knew cannonballs zigzagged across enemies. Lucky that they came to Holly Jolly Village. I'll have everywhere in the Mushroom Kingdom, otherwise there'd be no hope for us. Oh, who am I kidding? Some other Ex Machina probably would have saved us. Young Toadsworth tells us stuff we can blatantly see already through on-screen cues. This led to the green shot Fire Flower being used in every Mario&Luigi RPG after this. Am I the only one sick of that? The Shroobs don't use that remote control one-hit KO move on the babies like they did on the adult brothers. If Baby Bowser didn't stop by Peach's castle right before the invasion, the babies would be dead. Now, while this is definitely intense, I kinda wish it was the future. Then it would be more intense. Shrooblet? Junior Shrooboid? Princess Shroob? That's like if all humans had the word human in their name. How do they know Peach is in Shroob Castle? The Koopas make no attempt to shake off this Shroob missile. Good thing there's a convenient time hole in this castle. Yes, Shrooblets are even weaker than Goombas. Baby Mario was a jerk to his brother's future self. Baby Luigi likes seeing his future self in pain. Self-piggybacking. Bowser littered a lot of mushrooms throughout his castle. No wonder Mario always wins. Why do the babies have stash stats? They're way too young. Is it for milk mustache? That's stupid. Someone says something important looking looks trashable. Why does Bowser have a door with cute purple flowers on it? How did Toadsworth get through here? He's a weakling, and there was a quad switch back there. Game wants us to believe young Toadsworth's being overprotective, even though his paranoia is justified for once, when we're talking about bringing a baby through an abnormal hole in the floor. But then, 15 seconds later, he jumps into it with her. It's very creepy that Stuffwell calls this a tasty and delectable badge when it's inside him. These quad switches are interesting, but why would the Toads have them in the castle other than to inconvenience themselves? Shouting in the library. They still tell you not to do what you can do in this game. It was annoying in Superstar Saga, and it's annoying here. This Toad doesn't yell at us for climbing on the bookcases, which he ordered us not to do. This Toad doesn't know what stash points do, but then he tells us what they do. Cool challenge, but why do the Toads make it so you can only reach the top if you're really fast? We just got our dirty shoes on these nicely made beds. Toadsworth sees Baby Peach and thinks Peach shrunk. Toadsworth, it's a time device. Don't you think maybe it's the Peach from the past? Stupid Toadsworth. Are you sure that we're not playing Zelda Minish Cap? Do these eggs' resemblance to Yoshi eggs make any sense here? I know I've praised this game's dark atmosphere, but these dried up Toad sprites are actually horrific. Toad's jobs are to protect Peach, yet these dunces hide behind her. No wonder she always gets kidnapped. Discount Lone Executor. Deforestation. I sure hope that no toads were tied to the trees that we burned. This travel advisory group approves of throwing babies. Did they really just say that word in a Mario game? Seriously? A giant nose robot? They can use their leather shoes to tunnel through metal like it was nothing just by spinning like that. So, can these babies understand the Shroob language? The hammer command's more confusing than it is in the other Mario RPGs. Why is this Dr. Shroob yellow instead of purple like the others? Did his parents have salmonella? Or does the jelly from Despicable Me 2 have the same effect on Shroobs as it does on the purple minions? Putting onto that UFO would be really hard for a long period of time. It's funny seeing these Dr. Shroobs shrink from eating these poison mushrooms, but they should look before they eat. Are you sure this is the Vim factory and not the Slurm factory? I feel bad for Swiggler, constantly having its tail lifted and having all the blood rush into its head. Well, that's nice to know Toad's corpse was liquefied for nothing since Baby Mario just knocked it over. The game continues the trend of having a Wiggler boss fight. These Dr. Shroobs take a similar amount of damage when huge as when they're tiny. How did Baby Bowser know we took his treasure? He wasn't there when it happened. They transitioned to Baby Bowser flying with Kamek to avoid explaining why he didn't hit that wall. With all these time holds, the fabric of time should be in complete chaos. To move these two Toads were the use that entertain the baby just so happens to be of use to us. Imagine if we weren't in the room at the time. Kaylee is a jerk to Luigi. Okay game, I'm pretty sure Youb can't stand on that roof without crushing it. Cannibalism. Okay, technically not since it's a Yoshi Shroob thing / discount type of blubber eating a Yoshi, but how do I word this? Who left these giant footprints? Youb couldn't have done it since his feet aren't that big. They charge 5 coins to look at this egg, even though you can see it from far for free. Or do they force you to give up 5 coins if you happen to get a glimpse of it? Instead of flying away, Kamek just floats or paralyzed, allowing Youb to almost eat him. Luigi steals his cookie and gives it to his past self, which is cute. I can't tell if it's thoughtful of him to do, or selfish since that's him from the past. Kamek can easily zoom past these guys, but instead wastes his time lighting these paths on fire next to a water pump. Baby Luigi just crippled his brother for life, and now adult Mario will be affected. Nope, this is a cartoony game where characters aren't injured easily. Okay, maybe I can buy the standing on clouds thing, but I draw the line of being able to tunnel into them without falling through them. Sure, there's a giant monster terrorizing the island, but let's ignore that for now and go retrieve some stolen cookies. As if Kamek wasn't stupid enough in Yoshi's Island to tell us how to defeat his minions, here he can actually give you mushrooms. A baby can carry a grown adult. Also, why can't the brothers carry each other off screen like that in other instances? Then they wouldn't have to stupidly heave them around, making dodging frustrating. Why would Baby Bowser like the taste of cobalt star shards? There's a huge wall in Youb's way so he can't eat us, so they just scroll down hoping we don't notice the problem. If there are beans buried inside Youb's skin, there's no way that can be comfortable. Drilling into Youb's skin like this would cause swelling. Wow, I did not mean for it to sound that way. The bullies have the same name as an enemy in Mario 64. Even though these ones look cooler, it's still a sin. This Yoshi could have easily escaped while the RC Shroober was preoccupied with us. Is this dry bones throwing its own bones at us? Or does it have other bones stored in hammer space? Hammering these DNA strands changes their color because that's how DNA works. This convenient slit lets us hit these UFOs. In the Yoshi games, Yoshi can push a Chomp Rock on his own, but now it takes 6 Yoshis to do so. And not even as fast! This actually looks very uncomfortable. So now we find that Youb was really a living Shroob Yoshi factory. But how did it operate like this before the Shroobs used the growth ray on it? These eggs are supposed to turn Yoshis into Shrooboid Yoshis, yet they're not even slightly Shroobified yet. Sunnyside? Wasn't that the name of the daycare in Toy Story 3? And yes, I know this came first. These ice flowers are good, but they're mostly just recolored fire flowers. Why can't we fight Youb? He's the creature that was terrorizing the island. Why not fight him and Sunnyside? Now I'm adding 5 cents. Really, game? Is there some hidden rule where every comedy in the world needs a generic poop joke in there somewhere? Because I'm not laughing. These eggs survived this 1,000-foot fall. Even in death, Youb can still hold this cliff. Were these Yoshi's minds melted in the eggs? They saw us defeat Sunnyside, yet they still think Baby Bowser was the one who saved them. If Toadbert didn't eventually tell them that we're the real heroes, I'd be more mad at this than I already am. These Yoshis are so gullible that they even believe that Baby Bowser could fly, even though they clearly saw the cobalt star shards hit him. Baby Mario was a jerk to the 2 Toadsworths. This comes spin dash. It has wasted potential. It's a move that lets you go faster, but you can only use it when you're only playing as the adult brothers. Once again, we can't have a Mario game without a remix of the original Underground theme. Why do they have Goombas living in Princess Peach's castle? Besides, at this point in the game, they're pushovers. The babies can somehow drill under the grates. Speaking of which, how did this guy get into the pipe? Fawful? What are you doing here? I know you're a good villain, but you're supposed to be dead! Guess fan service is stronger than death. This bean spot behind Fawful isn't obtainable and is only here for Fawful to demonstrate them for you. This can get people's hopes up for nothing, making people think you can get a bean here. I love rolling up these stairs, but I'd imagine their big noses would get repeatedly mashed by them. How's an ice block in the middle of a desert? Kaylee Koopa happens to be talking about the exact princess that we're looking for. The Shrooba Diver doesn't notice the brothers in plain sight. Guess when you're not playing against someone, they're invisible to enemies. It takes 5.5 hours to get to our first of partners in times very few minigames, and this one's optional. We should be getting sand in our clothes. Why the heck do bub bombs resist fire? Is it even possible for this Shrooba Diver to move through sand that quickly? Alright, let's pummel enemies with a giant chain chomp. This is gonna be awesome. What? What were they thinking? So here's a Koopazeum. Yes, that's the name of this area. That's one of the laziest puns I've ever heard. In case it wasn't obvious that the Shroobs were evil, Alpha Dream gave Princess Shroob a discount Pac-Man death sound laugh. Shrooboid brat? What makes him more of a brat than the other Shroobs? Is it because he's eating a lollipop? I like lollipops and I find that offensive. Nice background effect, but normally people hold up those pieces of word things or whatever if they're rooting for them, so I could wrongly imply that these Shroobs are rooting for us. Instead of killing us, they drop us into the cave where PD Piranha is. I know he's a threat, but the brothers are a threat to their plans, so don't they worry that we could defeat it? Maybe Mario is a jerk to his brother's adult self. Again, these terrible secret keepers have the entrance to their secret area via a suspiciously cracked wall. Mario and Luigi are jerks. Haley Koopa begged for their help, and they just stood there acting like idiots. This makes me angry enough to give it 5 cents. What creature is the skull of? It must have had some huge thing in between its eyes. How did you break the solid rock just by spitting a block at it? Self-child abuse. Kylie, if you and the shard were both swallowed, you would have seen it. The brothers are upset to hear that PD Piranha spit up Peach. I know that means you still haven't found her, but would you rather her be digested? Luckily, this crosswind happened so we can learn a new move. How lucky are we? Game expects kids to understand the word sabbatical. The younger Toadsworth, who was shown to be overprotective like his older counterpart, suddenly isn't so overprotective now. And the older Toadsworth is put in the wrong for worrying about flattening Peach, even though he has every right to worry. This is child abuse. And now they're teaching kids that babies love being abused. What is wrong with you? Look, I hate to do this to you, game, but now I must give 5 cents. Be thankful that I'm giving 5 instead of 50, since parents are usually there to stop child abuse. Is Baby Cakes the least stupid name you could give this ability? They should be crippled for life right now. This toad vaguely says he's back in a pitiful attempt at making a surprise, even though 90% of the players would most likely know who, and even most of the 10% who didn't know will likely just feel stupid for not knowing. Bravo, Nintendo, for making people feel like idiots. I know Bowser has no brain, but why would he ever eat something that poisonous looking? Hope you enjoyed this because aside from the beans, hitting these high blocks in Gritzy Desert is the only new thing you can do once you come back to a previous area with new abilities in this game. I can buy both pairs going into the time holes even if just one does, but we couldn't have reached an impossible distance before entering it, or maybe an even more powerful magnets connecting everyone. These games are still rudely making us feel bad for doing what's necessary. The invisible magnet can make it hard to get to places sometimes. They want it to be a surprise as to who lives on this mountain when you can see right on the map. None of this volcano debris hits us. If Chinoombas are weak to fire, they shouldn't be living on a volcano. Professor Gadd isn't mad that 4 people broke into his house. In fact, he lets them stay. Karen says, why didn't you just say so? When they've been trying to say so this whole time cliche. Oh, so Professor Gadd basically reinvented Flood except bigger. I love this connection to Luigi's Mansion. But in that game, he said that he's lived in the woods since he was 20. But this shows he didn't move there until now, where he looks too old to be 20. Also, what gave him the brilliant idea to build his lab near the summit of an active volcano? By convenient timing, the time where he finally finished his idea for the Hydro Gush 4000 just so happens to be from our time. Out of everywhere the professor could have fired the Hydro Gush, it's in the right place. Sure, we asked for a sample, but we didn't say where. For all he knows, he could have messed us up. Are all female thwomps round? Or is Mrs. Thwomp unique in that regard? Because this is the only round thwomp we've ever seen. And she looks nothing like a woman. Thwompling. Even if we're plumbers, how does she think we pulled a gigantic hose out of nowhere? It's convenient that Mr. Thwomp was born with a quad switch on him. Now look what we've done. We've interfered with time and now Mrs. Thwomp hates Mr. Thwomp. I hope they weren't going to have babies. If so, we just erased someone from existence. Even if you return later, this terrible wife still hasn't forgiven her husband for what he said once. How did these two survive the eruption? I'm assuming this happens after the Yoshi's Island game since Mario didn't have his overalls yet in those games. How does Baby Bowser not recognize his adult self from Yoshi's Island DS? Hey look, it's a falling room from the Cave of the Lackitudes from Yoshi's Island! These stupid gold Coupillions flee on the first turn. Shooting a firecracker at babies doesn't do much damage. Several reminds us of something we've known ever since this game's 3rd hour. If you already have the simple badge from a smashed egg before getting it here, you'll scream in agony since you did all that work for something you already have. Even after we cleared the first 2 blocks, this swamp keeps saying we're going nowhere. Why doesn't he think we can clear this one? If you don't hit a certain block in the sewers by now, you might not be able to return to the castle and might have no way to beat the game. I'm adding 10 cents. Cool attack, but I doubt Baby Bowser could knock Bowser's shell around like that. Bowser weighs like thousands of pounds. Baby Bowser needs to jump on Bowser to make a small flame appear, but Bowser can spit more fire on his own. Wow, that lava spurt looks so realistic. Almost like they just stretched out some red bar. Bowser's definitely dead. Then again, I prefer that because then he wouldn't evolve into an unoriginal villain. This Thwomp doesn't knock this ship down. Hey look, a Thwomp landed on our ship! That means the princess isn't Thwomp Volcano. Don't know how that's a sign, but okay. Why are the brothers surprised? They walked into the abduction ray thing. What do they think would happen? Didn't they see what happened to the princess? Even the save album's a jerk to Luigi. It left him out of the description. You can't come back for these bean spots after completing the Shroob mothership. Are the white guardian Shroobs normal Shroobs that had too much blood drained whenever they had a blood test? How does fleeing make us lose money? That doesn't make any logical sense. This can't be comfortable for the Shroobs in the background. Every game in the series needs someone to dress like Peach. It's not a Mario&Luigi RPG unless we follow this guy after being the game's fake-out final level. Bunk on the head is enough to jog your memory cliche. These convenient Shroob mushrooms save us. Then again, we'd survive somehow. Instead of throwing these flags at you right away, the Shroid raises them to help you avoid them. How can a cactus have a skeleton? Skulls can't be squished. These annoying love bubbles can heal their allies whenever you attack them. This is one of the most beautiful looking areas in the franchise. It reminds me of Super Mario Galaxy. Discount Master Hand. Let me see if I have this right. This cardboard piece exploded like a real bomb. The Commander Shroob boss fight has so much health. This beautiful scene becomes much weirder once a certain plot twist is revealed. Are you implying that Mario is not a figure of immense popularity already? Yeah, babies are fit to enter this area with dangerous enemies. And baby Luigi is more worthy of entering than his adult self. Smallest planet ever. We basically just blew up a planet! How did they have a picture of adult Bowser if Bowser was a baby in this time period? This fake fire does more damage to us than an actual firecracker did. This hidden Aurora block is in plain sight on top of this machine thing on a platform that's clearly visible. It can be pretty annoying going diagonally on these platforms. The Star Door is a jerk to Luigi. Okay, he's doing that to test us, but it was still a sadistic move to make him cry like that. This is hilarious, but if Luigi's heart is literally that size, he should be in constant pain. Wow, leave it to me to ruin a perfectly good joke. Oh my gosh, the inside of this pipe is so beautiful. Better remove 2 sins. Cheap enemy placement. Discount Woohoo University Sunbeam Puzzle. Imitation bean spots. I like this pentagram symbol, but how did Nintendo not get sued for being offensive? Why didn't these guys have to do these trials to get here? Now that Toadbert's memory's jogged, why doesn't he tell us the truth about the Cobalt Star? How do you even get amnesia to begin with? Where's our explanation? No one questions what Toadbert was on about. Baby Luigi being able to fall off makes this narrow maze more annoying than it needs to be. The character tries to say something important but gets interrupted cliche. This is an awfully random choice to be a semi-final boss, especially since it's a clone of a previous fight. It's funny seeing him plant his face into the ground, but also kind of random for him to do just because his attack failed. Reverse cannibalism. Good idea, leave the 2 who were turned into Shroob mushrooms here instead of taking them safely to the castle. This castle had 4 floors, not counting the basement, but one of the floors was removed. This mushbrain makes it sound like there's some huge optional boss in Holly Jolly Village, but nothing's there. Why would this liar raise people's hopes like this? Freaky looking version of Peach's castle, complete with nightmare-inducing music, proves how effective Partners in Time's dark tone is. That being said, the scary music is more of a slight remix of the Shroob theme than an actual final level theme. I think I have this level to blame for the irrational creeps I get from Flopside and Super Paper Mario. There are more than one Shroobsworths that must have been made from multiple Toadsworths, even though there's only one Toadsworth we know. This intern Shroob can somehow lift a huge meteor, and this Odenfrail Shroobsworth has the strength to knock it around. Not respecting your elders. Who left these Shroob ships unguarded? The Shroobs have a very awkward way of controlling their ships. And why do they require 4 Shroobs to pilot? These highly intelligent aliens leave themselves completely open, and even the ones that move around don't fire back at you. These Shroobs haven't killed Peach. Panning out the level. Why do they need to point us in the right direction? We can see for ourselves what direction we need to go in. Game misses a good opportunity to say something like, "Oh no, you've been dropped into the sewers," instead of reusing the dialogue they used 10 minutes ago. There's no bed where Peach's bedroom was, so do Shroobs need to sleep? I thought taking a block out of a statue of Princess Shroob's dress was bad, but this? I think I'm gonna be sick. I wish we could use the bronze ball to go up the stairs, but no pipe blocks are at the top. What do you mean before we rescued Peach? We didn't yet. Out of everywhere the mothership could have landed, it landed where it could knock out the barrier. Why can we understand the Shroobs now? This part was what led to one of Josh Scorcher's biggest mistakes, where he misinterpreted the entire Shroob language as if the Shroobs were saying destroy, making him think the Shroobs know nothing but destroy, thus robbing us of a good entry to his darkest Mario list. This is one of the most epic battle themes in the whole franchise. And now it's that time, Rise Up track stands for a game's epic soundtrack. Peach stupidly pulls out the final shard, making it easy for the baby Bowser Ex Machina to take it. Why was baby Bowser turned to a fatter Shroob mushroom than everyone else who was transformed? This moment legit sends shivers down my spine. Here we learn that the Cobalt Star was actually in prison for the Elder Princess Shroob before getting captured. But in Todiko's flashback of Peach getting kidnapped, Elder Princess Shroob was nowhere to be seen. Also, how did Peach scatter those cobalt star shards around the kingdom if she was kidnapped? Also, lucky for Alpha Dream that the dialogue spoken through text boxes, otherwise we'd hear her creepy voice and known it as a trap. Also, why has she warned us about the Elder Shroob about to attack us at the Star Shrine? And lastly, since the star spirit inside the star was Elder Princess Shroob, this means she was basically asking you to kill her sister. Yeah, great climatic semifinal phase. Have her hold her arms out like, what did I do? Whenever she gets hit, have her charge like a football player, and drink a soda in the middle of this epic climax. Well, it could be worse. At least it's only the first phase, and she's not pigging out in the middle of a fight like a certain other final boss. She takes too long to drop this meteor on you, allowing you to counterattack. Instead of having her troops shoot you at once, she shoots them down to bombard you with them. There's one rare attack where she sucks her minions into a time hole and launches them at you later. But it's so rare that you can go for about a decade without even knowing it exists. It's so rare that this is the best quality footage I found of it. Are you serious? That's the least stupid way of coming up with a solution to this whole mess. And just like that, the Hydro Gush gets rid of every Shroob mushroom in the kingdom without missing a single square inch, and we shouldn't worry about people shielded by roofs. We never even got to say goodbye to Kylie because her last appearance in this game was her returning to normal, and when we finally do meet her again in Dream Team, she doesn't recognize us. That's very depressing if you think about it. How did Professor Gadd make water have the same chemical makeup as baby's tears? Yep, no more Shroobs, at least until Bowser's Inside Story reveals that some are in Bowser's freezer, and one's in the audience in Bowser's castle. And let's forget about all these time holes in the castle that could potentially lead to problems. Yeah, great idea, jump on Bowser so that he can regain consciousness and try to attack you again. Yes, it's still not over. They had an underwhelming fight after what should have been the final boss. It only exists to drag Bowser into the climax. Can't they have one Mario&Luigi RPG final boss that doesn't involve Bowser in any way? For some reason, the fireballs Shrouder spits up go up to Elder Princess Shroob. Lazily reusing music from Superstar Saga. Baby Peach got bored of the Toadsworth twist, but goes back to being entertained by it. The babies give their adult selves their hammers, but the adults lose them and need to get new ones from a box inside Bowser. This Yoshi cookie hasn't gone stale. I know this song is not supposed to be upbeat because of all the toads that died, but it barely sounds sad. For a game this awesome, the last 18 minutes really aren't.